Good morning, third grade. It's Miss Martinez, and happy April 2nd. Hopefully, you were able to survive April Fool's Day without too many pranks being pulled on you. So, today we're going to be looking at a couple mini passages, and our goal here is to be able to reference the text or go back to the text and make inferences about the text. And we're going to be looking at informational text today. So we're not going to be looking at fictional stories. We're going to be looking more nonfiction. And remember that an inference is determining an answer based on what you read and what you already know. So it's not going to be right there for you. It's not going to be saying, oh, it is right here in the text and there's your answer. You have to figure it out based on what you did read and what you already can know. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So again, we're going to be looking at a couple mini passages this time. So here's our first one here, and here's a little text feature. We have a photograph. Let's go ahead and read the first paragraph here. It says, "The greenhouse effect keeps the earth warm. It traps heat from the sun. This is just like a greenhouse. The earth would be too cold for humans without the greenhouse effect. Too much of the greenhouse effect can be a problem, though. It can get too warm. This is called global warming. Every day the sun's rays hit the earth. The heat in the air gets trapped by greenhouse gases, and this makes the earth much warmer." So there was a lot there. Our question is, which of these examples tells you why the greenhouse effect, which is something that just happens because of something else, the result of something, keeps the earth warm? Which of these examples helps you understand that it keeps the earth warm? This is called global warming. It traps heat from the sun. This is just like a greenhouse, or too much of the greenhouse effect can be a problem, though. Which of these tells you why, the specific reason why, the greenhouse effects keep the earth warm? I shouldn't just take a guess. I should be able to go back to my text and figure out where I might help get my answer. So if I go back and I look, where does it say anything about it being warm? I see two places where it talks to me about it being warm. Right here, I see the word warm, and I see it down here too. So now I should be looking around to see if any of these examples goes with that. This says it can get too warm. Okay, so that's when too much of the greenhouse effect can be a problem, though. It can get too warm. But is the question asking me when it gets too warm or just when it's warm? Yeah, just when it's warm. Not asking when it gets too warm. That's a whole different idea. This over here says this makes the earth much warmer. Okay, well, what does? What makes the earth warm? The heat in the air getting trapped by greenhouse gases is what makes the earth warmer. See how those two sentences are connected? They go together. So is it just because it's called global warming, calling it global warming, making that the name is why it's warm? No, that's just the name for it. Which of these is the specific reason why the earth is warm? It traps heat from the sun? Yes, excellent job. All right, we now have a different story that we need to now read. Again, I have another photograph. I have another I have another text feature here. And this is just a little photo of what looks to be some type of ice or iceberg. So I think that's what I'm going to be reading about. Let's go ahead and read this one. Earth's climate is always changing. Climate is the weather over long periods of time. The planet goes through a cycle of extremely cold and in-between periods. We call the very cold periods ice ages. During ice ages, the Earth is much colder and drier. Earth's ice caps grow far beyond the poles. Sea levels drop as more water becomes ice. Land bridges appear where there was once ocean. Earth is now in between two ice ages. The next ice age won't come for thousands of years. Interesting. All right. Our question says, the text says, sea levels drop as more water becomes ice. What idea does this show? First, we should be going back and finding where that sentence is. And if I look back, I'm going to see it's right here. Sea levels drop as more water becomes ice. So that's where that sentence goes. What idea does this show? Well, if I look around that, it says that during the ice ages, the earth is much colder and drier. Earth's ice caps grow far beyond the poles. So sea levels drop as more water becomes ice. So if it's going from water to ice, is it getting warmer or colder if it becomes ice? Does it become warmer or colder? Yeah, it becomes colder, right? We're talking about the ice here. It's cold. So does this talking about how the sea levels are becoming ice instead of water talk about how Earth is in between ice ages? That during ice ages, the Earth is colder and drier? That the next ice age won't come for thousands of years? Or that the last ice age was thousands of years ago? This specific line, what does it tell you? Pause and answer the question. All right, if you're back, you should have an answer. When I'm looking at this specific sentence doesn't tell me anything about time. It doesn't tell me when the last ice age was or when the next ice age was, and it doesn't tell me anything about how they're in between ice ages. It's telling me, well, if the water is becoming ice, it must be cold and dry. Awesome. All right, our next one. Ooh, doggies. This says, dogs talk in many ways. They mark their land. They also wag their tails. They show they are excited or happy. Dogs show their teeth when they feel angry. Some dogs have hair that stands up. This shows a dog is angry or scared. Dogs often bark. Woof. This is how they show how they feel. They could say what when they want something. Some breeds make other sounds. Interesting. So this whole little paragraph here seemed to talk to me about the way that dogs talk, right? Dogs are talking in many different ways because they can mark their land, they wag their tails, they show they're excited, they show teeth, they have their hair, they're angry, they bark, all sorts of stuff. So our question is, which examples show how dogs express or show or communicate their mood, how they're feeling? We have to pick 3, so 3 out of 4 of these are correct. Which one shows when they are feeling something? Dogs show their teeth when they feel angry. Is that telling me about an emotion and how they show it? Yeah, if they're angry, you're going to see their teeth. Dogs talk in many ways. Does that show me an actual mood, how they feel? I don't think so, but let's look at the other ones. Dogs also wag their tails to show they are excited or happy. What is the mood in this one? What's the mood? Yeah, excited or happy. Yeah, exactly. And to do that, they wag their tails. And D says dogs bark to show how they feel. So we don't have a specific feeling here, but we know that if they're barking, they must feel something, right? Let's see. Look at that. Excellent. All right, this is our last one, ladies. Zora Neale Hurston was an African-American author in the 1900s. She is well known for her book, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Hurston gained respect after her death. Author Alice Walker got more people interested in Hurston's work in the 1970s. Many artists were inspired by her writing. They also wanted to write about African American experiences. And then here's a picture of her. This says, which detail from the text shows how other authors looked up to Zora Neale Hurston? When I say that I look up to somebody, I admire them, I think that they're great, I respect them. So which one shows that people looked up to her, that they admired her? Pause this video and go ahead and get started on answering the question. All right, which one did you think showed that people looked up to her? She's well known. She gained popularity and respect after her death. People also wanted to write about experiences, or she was an author. What are we thinking? This one? Are we thinking this one? Oh no. So this one I could have seen a lot of people getting incorrect just because it's very, very detailed. Yes, she gained popularity and respect after her death, but that does not show that other writers looked up to her. How does this show that other writers really looked up to her? Well, who are the they? They also wanted to write about African American experiences. We're talking about the other artists, the other ones that were inspired by her. So again, if you went back to the text and you looked at each of these examples and where they were, you would have seen that this one here is right here. And it tells me right before that many artists were inspired by her, that they looked up to her. So they also wanted to write about her experiences. So I know that that was a tough one, and I really wanted to touch on that one because I know that this one could have been a popular choice that many of you said. But again, it was important for us to go back to the text in order for us to get the right answer. We couldn't just rely on what we already knew and what we thought. We have to go back to the text still, okay? So that was an important one to touch on. All right, excellent job, ladies. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a written response and check out what the question is at the next slide here. You're going to have to go back to the first two that we read about, okay? I am so missing you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.